Hello guys, I hope you're doing well today. In this video, we are going to learn how to pass data between screens. Passing data between screens when we use traditional way of navigation like construction is very easy. We use constructor of any class and pass any data. But if you have watched our previous video or you know about route navigation, you know that it's not possible to pass a data from a constructor within a named route. With a name routes, you cannot pass any data from a construction because here we create an instance of the class at the routes properties and map it to our Flutter project. Then how we could process it and how we could send data between screen back and forth. In this video, we are going to learn about that. Very simply, very easily. When we are using named navigation in Flutter, that provides us something called arguments. This arguments is something that we could pass to another screen, and it's not matter what you are passing. Why? Because if you hover it by your mouse, you would understand it. It said it's an object. Then you could pass, for example, a map of data. You could pass array of data. You could pass instance of data. But be aware of a type which you are sending. I would explain you what's this REST, and just let's focus on that and imagine there is nothing here else, and just navigator.push name and this arguments here. You don't need this for passing data, and you could proceed it with a normal navigation. These are for getting data back from a screen which you had traveled to, and we would process it in a minute and we would understand what's that. So for sending a data, it's not matter using push name, push replacement name, or any kind of pushing or popping. You could use arguments, and then you could pass the data which you want to pass. It's best practice and it's better to pass a map of data because the map opens your hand and you can send complex data structure without for example identifying and saying this or getting error of casting and things like that. So if we can pass data through arguments, how we could use it and how we could get it. In the destination page, which we want to get that data from the previous page, we should use something called modal.of context. ModalRoute.ofContext provides us the information about the current route which we are currently in, and then accessing a setting of that, it gives us a lots of things we could do, and then after that we could use arguments. Be aware of type which you are sending. If you are sending a list, then you have to use casting here and say that this is going to be a list. Why? If I remove this casting here and put this at the end, it would complain and say I'm object and I cannot assign it to the map kind string dynamic. You're assigning me that, so I'm going to say that okay bro, be relaxed, and I would cast you to that. And because that I say be aware of something that you pass, then you can cast it to it. But there is something very important you have to consider, that is that this setting is nullable, and if you remove this exclamation mark, it would complain and say my bro, I cannot unconditionally access, I'm nullable. Please say can I be null or I cannot be null for your own self. If I say for example this null, and then I can use question mark here, and we know that this data shall be null if it's sent here. So I know that the data is not null, so I use exclamation mark here. Then how we could use it? We could use it as a normal map in our data. So I've come here and set a text which from the username key, because it's a map string, we have sent it from previous page, and we could use it here. So let's see what happens in the navigation. I just click this and I send Abu Fazl here to this page. In this page I have said the text could be clickable and say navigator.offContext.pop, but this time I have put a data into it. If you hover on pop, you would understand there is an optional thing that you could pass for it. Now it's a map string object you can pass, because now I passed a map type. Then you could use you could pass any kind of data in the pop. And then what's happened when you provide any kind of data in the pop method, that data would be returned back to the previous screen if you use the pop. And then how you could catch it, and that's time you could use .then on it. If you hover on the push operations, you would understand this is a future, and you could use then on it. So after using then, you have to wait on it, to wait to push to that screen and back to get that value back into this screen. So what we are doing here is that we just pass back the data with pop to the previous screen, and we just grab it with a then from the value and printing it to the console. And if I now press Alphas and back to the screen, you would see the data I've passed, it get back. And it's not matter if you send, for example, map of data, instance of a class, or anything else. I hope you understanding very well. This was a very short video that we want to learn about passing data between screens when we use named navigation. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and comment your idea. I would be very thankful for your kind reactions. See you in another video. Goodbye.